right now in the multifamily lending space, the biggest threat that we have has shifted from really legislative change for Fannie and Freddie to one more of the regulatory environment. You know, for the past 6 years, we've been operating in a cap lending environment, and it has created a lot of stress on the amount of volume that Fannie and Freddie can do. I think probably the biggest risk to the multifamily financing market right now is regulatory change on Fannie and Freddie. We see a lot of local municipalities like New York City passing strict rent control laws. Regulatory both at local levels and the national level is probably the biggest threat I see today in multifamily lending. I think lenders and borrowers are both really trying to figure out how to react to the volatile interest rate environment right now. We've gotten to the point where the Treasury is just about 2%, and so most of the all-in interest rates that we're putting out on loans today, macroeconomic demands like the global economy, the equity markets, it's a little bit counterintuitive, but a lot of times when the Fed lowers the interest rate, we see our interest rates go up. It's not a direct correlation when the Fed lowers rates to lowering of our interest rates, but I think today, spread risk is as much of a variable to the all-in interest rate as what the Fed does. They are. Borrowers' objectives seem to change with the multifamily market. You know, Fannie and Freddie have been such a large part of it that borrowers are constantly trying to adapt their business strategies to fit in what products Fannie and Freddie want to do. Borrowers are much more interested in green products today than they were 2 or 3 years ago. You know, we talked about the low interest rates. We've come to a point now where the yield curve is inverted. And a few years ago, we would do more than 50% of our loans as floating rate loans. Well, today, borrowers are much more interested in long-term fixed rate. You know, fixed rates are lower than floating rate deals today. And so as a result, borrowers have often shifted their plan to move away from floating rate debt into fixed rate debt.